We just getting started, baby. Did anybody see what Mr. Wardell Steph Curry did to the Portland Trail Blazers? They were nobodies. They beat the Giants. Trash. They beat the Broncos. Trash. If you ever watched Dragon Ball Z, my man's was Super Saiyan. I couldn't wear this until we actually caught a dub. And he did all of this damage in 36 minutes. Let that sink in. They beat the Eagles, trash. The Cowboys, trash. The Bengals, trash. The Jaguars, trash. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here on Rob's 2 Cents. Hello, world. I'd like to welcome you back to the show that's hot with your boy, Rob Scott. This is Rob's 2 Cents. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody doing good, baby. Hope y'all had a good week. Hope y'all had a productive week. Hope whatever short-term goal you set for yourself, you got it accomplished. Hope you're ready to relax and enjoy the weekend. I know I am. My Friday started yesterday, however, but nevertheless, it's the weekend, baby. And man, I'm so happy, ready to have some fun with my wife this weekend. Got some things planned for her birthday. We're going to have us a great time. But before I got to the festivities, I had to get to you guys. Because, man, oh, man, the sports world has been going crazy. We got a lot to talk about today. But at first, we can't start the conversation without talking about royalty. And when I say royalty, I'm talking about the king. Go ahead, kick your feet up, grab your popcorn, get your snacks, get ready to enjoy a great show. Tune in to the hottest sports conversation in the nation. This your boy Rob Scott with Rob 2 Cents. And we about to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. Because don't look now, but the Lakers are saying it's showtime in L.A. as they begin to make some noise in the Western Conference, people. The Lakers are on a 4-game winning streak right now. It don't look to be slowing down because LeBron is making his case once again to be MVP. Now, y'all got to remember, LeBron is 36 years old, okay? And I have to say, I wasn't the biggest LeBron fan. But I am turning more and more into a fan of his the more I watch him, because you have to appreciate greatness while it's in front of you, okay? Now, I've already had to swallow that hard pill of saying that LeBron is better than Kobe. He ain't better than Mike, so get that out your head now. I'm not going as far as to say LeBron is the GOAT, but LeBron is the GOAT of this era. Right now, he's doing things that a 36-year-old man shouldn't be doing on a court full of young boys. I'm talking about, I mean, you look at your current candidate for Rookie of the Year, LaMelo Ball. He only 19 years old. So that just shows you that LeBron can honestly say in the game of professional sports, been there, done that, seen it all. But right now, he's about to do something that's never been done, and that's to be the oldest MVP to ever win that award in the NBA. Because right now, he's making a strong case. Right now, the Lakers are currently just knocking out the competition, and LeBron is keeping them afloat as they patiently yet nervously wait on AD. Because as we know right now, they're saying that AD, with that Achilles, he's been reevaluated. He's probably going to be out for another 3 weeks to a month. So right now, the LeBron is probably in that man's ear saying, hey, don't rush back. We need 100% KD in order to win this NBA championship. But still, the Lakers don't want to fall to that lower half of the seeding when you get into that 7, 8, 9, 10 place, because then you're going in a play-in tournament. The play-in style tournament that is a lot like the March Madness tournament that's going on right now. So, one game could be the difference. There ain't no series in these play-in tournaments. One game, the Lakers could get eliminated. So they're doing a great job keeping themselves afloat. But they're still in the running to be the best team in the league, especially with the decline that the Jazz has been kind of showing. But still, They're in a situation, they don't want to be in that situation where they have to play in that play-in tournament, as I just mentioned. And we're going to look at the last 5 games that the Lakers have played so far. So right before the All-Star weekend, the Lakers lost to the Sacramento Kings 123-120. This game did not feature LeBron, as he will be out with a sore ankle, and wanting to get rest, before the All-Star weekend, because this wasn't your traditional All-Star weekend. All the festivities were in one day. So what that meant is that Friday and Saturday, usually, teams are getting off 2 to 3 days prior to the weekend. And not to mention, they're still trying to cram so many games into this one season at one time, considering the fact that they started in December, that they didn't get that normal week that they'll normally be off from All-Star weekend. However, I don't know how it happened. LeBron and those boys were able to maneuver themselves to only play. They got their weekend, and then LeBron wanted to get a little extra time, so he missed this game against Sacramento, dealing with that sore ankle. However, the Lakers will put up a fight because this will go down to the wire. It was a back and forth game. Dennis Schroeder had a great game for the Lakers. He scored 28 points while shooting 55% from the field, 50% from the three-point line. He also contributed with 9 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Big Montrezl Harrell, he chipped in as well. He had 26 points and 12 rebounds, and Kyle Kuzma had 25 points and 13 rebounds. But it was just too much of Buddy Hield as he got hot. With Buddy Hield is one of those players, he's like a J.R. Smith. He can shoot you in the game or he can shoot you out of the game. And he himself had a sore ankle, but he decided to play. He wanted to give Sacramento their best chance to win because, as we know, Sacramento has been on sort of a decline. And I believe that was probably their 6th or 7th loss in a row at that time when they lost to they were coming off a 6-game skid when they beat the Lakers. So he scored 29 points. He shot 7-11 from the three-point line. That man went crazy. Scored 8 points in 50 seconds in the second quarter to help the Kings take the lead in the game after being down 14. And then De'Aaron Fox will also chip in with 23 points and 8 assists. Sacramento's to be the winners of that game. But then after the All-Star break, after being, getting some time off, you can tell the Lakers came back rejuvenated. They came back refocused. And second half, Bron is not one to be played with. And the Lakers will begin this second half of the season focused as they will start to beat teams by a margin of 15.8 points. First up will be the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers will lead the game up until the fourth quarter, and that's when Kyle Kuzma went bonkers when he scored 15 points in the fourth. The Lakers will win 105-100. Kyle Kuzma had 24 points, led the Lakers in both scoring and rebounds with 13 boards as well. LeBron had a bad shooting game by his standards. He shot 5 of 13 from the field and 1 of 4 from the three-point line. However, he had 18 points and 10 assists, chipping in other ways, and that's what the great players do. When you're not having a good shooting night, scoring the ball is not the only way that you can contribute to your team. You can rebound the ball. You can play defense, get your blocks, get your steals, facilitate, become a floor general. And LeBron is definitely good at doing that. But then the Lakers would destroy the Golden State Warriors 128-97. They led this entire game. Big Trez Harrell led all scores, at least for the Lakers side of the ball, scoring 27 points with 5 rebounds. LeBron, what'd he do? He only had his 4th triple-double of the season, scoring 22 points off of 62% shooting from the field with 11 assists and 10 rebounds. Boy, let me tell y'all, second half, Bron, a dog. Then the Lakers would cruise through the Minnesota Timberwolves, winning 137-121. This was a close game in the first half, but then the Lakers would begin to, click on offense in that second half. Even though both Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, they'll both go for 29. The Lakers would just be too much, and led by Bron, who will have back-to-back triple doubles, having 25 points, 12 assists, and 12 rebounds. Montrezl would chip in with 25 points of his own with 6 assists and 4 boards, and the Lakers right now just looking like they're on cruise control. Then on Thursday night, they will meet the exciting Charlotte Hornets. Now, this game had, a little hype build around it because prior to the game, that day, in a previous game, and in one of those media sessions, LaMelo Ball was asked, how did he feel, about being able to play LeBron for the first time? Was he a fan of LeBron, and how, pretty much trying to get him to feel like, a kid in a candy store. And LaMelo played it cool. LaMelo was saying, that he really wasn't even into basketball, as far as watching it as a kid growing up, and that, the only person that he really admires is his father, which he said that before on a different occasion. So, but the media, you want to hype it up. Did he diss LeBron? Was he being disrespectful to LeBron? And I do believe that LeBron took that kind of personally. Let's look at the game. The Lakers will win 116-105. As I mentioned, this was the first matchup between Melo and Bron. And they wouldn't disappoint in this matchup either, as LaMelo will go for 26 points, was led all scorers for Charlotte. He also had 7 assists and 6 rebounds. However, the King would show why they call him the King, and he went crazy, scoring 37 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. LeBron is still playing at an extremely high level, ladies and gentlemen. And by looking at those 5 games, that's all I wanted you guys to see. He went for back-to-back triple-doubles in his 4-game winning streak, which makes 5 triple-doubles on the season and 99 for his career. The Lakers have taken their spot back as the second-best team in the Western Conference. And as I mentioned earlier, Jazz has not looked like the Utah Jazz that we saw in the first half of the season. Definitely looking like that, them holding on to that number 1 spot in the West is not a confirmation. It might be a little flippy-floppy in the standings. And right now, the Lakers are poised and looking like the best team in the Western Conference. Now, there is a rumor that the LA Clippers are interested in grabbing Lonzo Ball. And let me just tell y'all this. If that is indeed the truth, and that indeed happens, and the Clippers are able to get Lonzo Ball, well, the league better look out, because the Clippers are honestly 1 point guard away from being the best team in the league. So, a lot to look out for in the upcoming weeks. But I want to switch it over to the football side of things, because we've seen something that we never thought we would see before. We've seen the Patriots actually go out and spend some money. The Patriots broke the bank. It looks as if Coach Belichick took it personal that Tom Brady was able to win his 7th Super Bowl ring and first ring without him as his coach. So what did he decide to do? He decided to rebuild New England. And of course he knew that he needed a quarterback. First and foremost, every great ship needs a captain. And Cam Newton was honestly the most logical choice. If we look at who was out there, you had Andy Dalton, Derek Carr, Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, hey, I'm going to re-sign Cam Newton as well, especially if I can get him on another minimum deal. But he knew that after they re-signed Cam Newton, Coach realized, hey, he going to need some help. So what did he do? He went back to what he knows best, and that's those tight end plays, those tight end sets that the Patriots love to call. So he goes and picks up Jonnu Smith and Henry Hunter, who are probably, you can say, in the top 10 of tight ends in the league. Jonnu, who received a 4-year, $50 million deal with $31.25 million guaranteed, had his best season in 2020 after he had 8 touchdowns and received 448 yards on 41 receptions for the Titans last year. And then Hunter Henry, he signed a 3-year, $37.5 million contract with $25 million guaranteed. Hunter had 4 touchdowns and 613 yards off 60 receptions for the Los Angeles Chargers. Then the Patriots realized that they need a wide receiver as well. So they go get Nelson Aguilar from the Las Vegas Raiders and sign him to a 2-year, $26 million contract. He is also fresh off a great season as well, having 8 touchdowns with a career best 896 yards receiving off 48 catches. They will also get back to their bread and butter, which is that defense. As we know, Coach Belichick hangs his hat on defense. So what does he do? He goes and get the linebacker Matthew Judon from the Baltimore Ravens, assign him to a 4-year, $56 million contract with $32 million guaranteed. Judon has 50 tackles and 6 sacks last season, and he's a great addition to that Patriots defense. The New England Patriots in total spent $137.5 million in guaranteed moolah. The Patriots look to once again reclaim their spot as the dominant team in the AFC division, and the AFC conference, I should say. Man, Belichick took that personally, and I really believe in my heart of hearts that the Patriots are going to be a different team this year. Are they going to be better than the Buffalo Bills? Are they going to be better than the Baltimore Ravens? Are they going to be better than the Kansas City Chiefs? Those questions have yet to be remained because we have to see how Cam Newton is going to be this season. But as we know, I gave him a break for last season because he had nobody to throw it to. But this time, you got some help. Now, I know Nelson Aguilar is not the best receiver in the world. He is known to drop a couple passes or two, but he is a stable receiver and better than the receivers you had last year. Not to mention, we know that Cam Newton, his most successful times in his career was when he was throwing the ball to Greg Olsen when he played for Carolina. So we know that he loves his tight ends, and I believe we're going to see a resurgence from Cam Newton this year. And speaking of resurgence, speaking of making a comeback, don't look now because the Atlanta Hawks are beginning to soar as they're on a 7-game winning streak. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. And they're currently 5th in the Eastern Conference. Remember, on my last show, they were sitting at like 11th. It's amazing what happened when you win 7 games in a row. They are beginning to look like that dynamic, team that we saw last season, and they're being led by a dynamic player in Trae Young, who's averaging 25.4 points per game and 9.4 assists per game. It seems like the firing of their former head coach Lloyd Pierce has woken up this sleeping giant, has woken up this team. Their most notable win will be against the Miami Heat, but the other teams that they beat were not even playoff bound as they defeated Toronto, Sacramento, Cleveland, Houston, and OKC. All them teams are trash, but that's what the good teams do. The good teams beat on the teams that they're supposed to beat. I don't know how many times I can reiterate that, my good people. But if you want to be great, you win the games that on paper you're supposed to win. And that's what the Atlanta Hawks are doing. We're going to be keeping our eyes on the Hawks because, Trae Young, as I mentioned last show, he has the ability to go nuclear. And speaking of nuclear, we've seen some great performances just this past week in the NBA. Oh, my God. Let's talk about these dynamic players and what they've been doing this year. Just this week, we saw a great duel as the Washington Wizards would defeat the Utah Jazz 131-122. Donovan Mitchell will go for 42 points off of 53% from the field, 33.3% from the three-point line. But Bradley Beal, not to be outdone, will have 43 points himself, shooting 66.7% from the field and from the three-point line. Russell Westbrook will also have a triple-double, scoring 35 points with 13 assists and 15 rebounds, as he himself will capture his 13th triple-double of the season. Then we have to go out there to Minnesota, as Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards will both go for 40. Will both go in their 40s. As the Minnesota Timberwolves will defeat the Phoenix Suns 123-119. Cat will have 41 points, shooting 15-24 from the field and 5-7 from the three-point line. He will also have 8 assists and 10 boards. But the rookie the rookie sensation, making a case for himself, saying, hey, we're not just going to say LaMelo Ball is going to be your automatic rookie of the year. Don't forget about me. I am in this race. And Anthony Edwards made a damn statement as the rookie would make go for 42 points, shooting 48.4% from the field with 7 boards. That's just nasty. But then Dame Dollar gave the New Orleans Pelicans nightmares because they had to play in back-to-back games. First, we saw Dame Dollar on Thursday night. He went for 36 points, shooting 54.5% from the field and 40% from the three-point line. But on Tuesday night, oh my goodness, on Tuesday night, he would catch the Holy Ghost and score 50 points off of 20 shots. I will repeat that for my people in the back that didn't hear. 50 points, 5-0 off of 20 shots. He was 13 of 20 from the field, including 6 of 13 from the three-point line, 18 of 18 from the free throw line. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to the free throw line, those are free shots. No defense, no contest. Just you and your focus and the rim. And he went 18 of 18. Then he will also have 10 assists and 6 rebounds. Man, Dame Dollar went crazy. That's 86 points in 2 games, back to back. I bet you New Orleans couldn't go to sleep without hearing the net switch. Then lastly, we will see the bearded one, James Harden of the Brooklyn Nets, and he will lead them to a 124-115 win against the Indiana Pacers on Wednesday night. He will go for 40 points, hitting the 40-point triple-double as he had 40, 15 assists, and 10 rebounds. He even had 2 steals as he would notch his 11th triple-double of the season. A lot of triple-doubles going around here, man. And as these players have put on some great performances, I have to say that all of y'all, them boys cold. Woo! Can't wait for these playoffs to start. Got a couple quick hitters before we end the show. The Buffalo Bills signed wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders to a 1-year, $6 million deal. Also includes a $500,000 incentives as well. Sanders had 5 touchdowns and 726 yards receiving off 61 receptions on the season last year. Trent Williams also became the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history as he and the San Francisco 49ers agreed to a 6-year, $138 million contract. Man, I wish I would know how to block people if I can get that much money. Man, congratulations to Trent Williams, man. That's big time right there. Now, this next one is going to bring a little bit of controversy. Excuse me, y'all. Because Oregon Ducks forward Sedona Prince has made headlines as she filmed on her social media account. It was TikTok. The discrepancy of how the men are treated as opposed to how the women are treated. So what she filmed was the men's training facility, the men's weight room, quote unquote, and how nice it was. They had all type of equipment. They had people in there ready to train. It just looked like a great facility, you know, to keep these players warmed up, to keep them on top of their training when they're not playing on the court. And then she showed the women's training facility, which pretty much consisted of a rack of dumbbells. That was it. NCAA tried to come out with a statement and say that it was due to a lack of space of why the men's weight room had so much more than what the women did. And then she would then film how much space was actually on the women's side of the training facility. NCAA, that was just ridiculous, okay? This is 2021. We should be past that phase of thinking that women cannot do what men can do. That was wrong, and you should be offended, and you should feel bad about how women are still being treated in this world. they are the givers of life. I know if men had to get pregnant, there will be no babies. I'll tell you that right now. Also, in other news, Deshaun Watson is making headlines as currently, right now, he has 7 lawsuits filed against him from women claiming that he tried to force them into sexual acts when they were there to just give him a massage. It only started off with 3 at the beginning of the week, and just today 4 more were added. And according to the lawyer representing these women, it's going to be a total of 12 civil lawsuits filed against Deshaun. Again, Watson has denied these claims as he did not want to settle out of court. He said he's going to defend his good name. We hope that the allegations are not true against Deshaun. We're going to be keeping our eyes on this, especially as it comes as a bad time as he's trying to get traded out of Houston. And surprisingly, other NFL teams are not backing down. They still want Deshaun Watson because he's just a talented quarterback. So again, we're going to be keeping our eyes on this situation to see what's going on. But I want to talk about these people that I'm wearing on my hat right now, the Chicago Bears. They released veteran cornerback Kyle Fuller today, and this release now helps $14 million release in cap space for the Chicago Bears. They then signed Andy Dalton to a 1-year, $13 million contract. Last season as a backup for the Dallas Cowboys, Andy threw for 2,169 yards for 14 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, and he had a QBR of 53.8%. The Cowboys did not make the playoffs or win their division, which was the weakest division in football. And they also told Andy Dalton he's going to be a starter for this team. You couldn't win in the division where the winner of that division was the Washington football teams, who had a record of 7-9%. And this is the guy who wasn't even a starter for a team last year that you paid to come to your team and to be the savior for the Chicago Bears after all the stupid money that you gave to Nick Foles last year. Chicago Bears, shame on you. Shame on you for putting all your eggs in a basket for Russell Wilson. You had other good quarterbacks out there. Why not try to go for Deshaun? Why not try to go for Derek Carr? Why not try to go for somebody that was actually a starter last year? Why is it that Chicago always has a neglect in the quarterback position? Now, I'll be the first one to say I'm sorry if Andy Dalton comes in and does his thing, but I just don't see it happening. I don't see Andy Dalton changing life for the Chicago Bears. Now, they did also sign cornerback Desmond Trufant to replace Kyle Fuller in the secondary as he will be our new cornerback out there trying to defend these receivers. But the Bears, man, it's just they need to go ahead and fire Pace, man, because I'm almost ready to stop being a Chicago Bears fan. Also, P.J. Tucker was traded to the Milwaukee Bucks in exchange for DJ Augustine. And then also in the NBA, the Miami Heat traded Myers Leonard for forward Trevor Ariza, which I think was a great pickup for Miami. Bringing Trevor over there, wow, that was definitely a move, especially considering the fact right now Miami is on the upside of things, coming in ready to make another run to get back to the NBA Finals. And then PJ Tucker over there with Milwaukee, he brings a certain toughness that maybe they didn't have before, especially because he can go in there. He proved with Houston he can stick some centers as well. PJ is strong, and also he has some of the nicest shoes out there on the basketball court. Couple last tidbits here. Juju Smith-Schuster signed a 1-year deal with worth $8 million as he re-signed back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's also receiving a $7 million signing bonus as well. He had 9 touchdowns last season, along with 831 yards off of 97 receptions. And last but not least, The WWE WrestleMania, the WWE is going to still be going forth with WrestleMania, and they're going to allow 25,000 fans to attend the 2-day event. As we know, WrestleMania, as of last year, has transformed from 1 day to 2 days, and they're going to finally allow fans to come in into the arena up to 25,000 people, which is going to be pretty exciting because I miss wrestling shows. Wrestling pay-per-views, wrestling events, period, without real fans. So kudos to AEW for being a trendsetter, for keeping fans in their audience, as limited as it may be. It's still better to hear that real, raw emotion when exciting things happen in the world of professional wrestling. This will be the first time in a year that fans will be in attendance for a WWE event. And ladies and gentlemen, that's my show. I thank you guys so much for sticking around, for coming to get the sports news. You know, we talk about everything sports here on Rob's 2 Cents. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Remember, with this video, like the video, share the video, subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time Rob's 2 Cents drop. Remember, I drop shows every Tuesday and Saturday, so be on the lookout for that, man. Tell your friends, tell your family, hit the like button, man. Especially my Chicago people, come support one of your own, man. Get your boy up there to ESPN so I can be the voice that we need when Stephen A. and Skip Bayless want to talk out the side of their mouth. Let me be our voice so I can let them know exactly why they're wrong and why we're right. But no, man, shout out to them. Shout out to Stephen A. Shout out to Skip, man. Definitely two of my idols when it comes to this game of sports talk. And I'm hoping one day somebody can get my show to their eyes so they can see the potential of future greatness that Rob's 2 Cents is having right now. And I love you guys. I appreciate all the support. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay chillax, get rejuvenated, and get ready to hit next week hard as we start all over again, setting goals and getting ready to achieve them. I hope you guys have a great and safe evening. Get ready for the little bit of the feel-good weather tomorrow. This has been your boy, Rob Scott. Thank y'all for tuning in to the hottest sports conversation in the nation. Hope y'all continue to be great. And you guys know the slogan, baby. We gone. There's a bigger fight going on. There's a much bigger agenda than the streets. And I know sometimes it's hard to see that far in front of us. But we have to look past the illusions. Look past the delusions of grandeur. And look at the bigger picture. We need to become better versions of ourselves each and every day. Fight for what you believe in. Because if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. We just getting started, baby. You guys know the slogan now. Hope you all have a great evening. And we gone.